ROI, return on investment. We've all heard the term before. You invest $1,000, you get $2,000 back in a month. Pretty good return on your investment. So that's the financial aspect of ROI. But what about time? If you put in 8 hours of time, how do you know if what you did was worth it? Or is it worth it to pay someone who already invested the time in becoming a subject matter expert rather than investing in doing all the learning? This is what we're going to talk about today. Should you invest money or time in creating a marketing strategy and campaigns to grow your business?
Inkyma's Marketing Strategies is a podcast for small business owners hosted by Audrey Kirchner, co-founder and chief marketing strategist at Inkyma, helping you navigate the world of marketing so that you can market your business in the right way, see growth, and thrive regardless of the industry you're in. To learn more about Inkyma and what we do, ask a question, or schedule a marketing evaluation, go to the website inkyma.com. That's INKYMA.com. Listen to the show on your podcast player of choice, the Inkyma website, or the Inkyma YouTube channel. Just search for Inkyma Marketing Strategies and you'll find what you need.
Alrighty, so I am going to be referencing different things like episodes and products and all that other good stuff. You can find all those links in the show notes. Also, I'm going to be walking you through some questions later, and those questions are going to be in the show notes as well. So let's start with a quick definition of ROI, of return on investment, and how it's used in a business and marketing setting versus investment. So ROI, what you get back when you invest. What is the profitability and efficiency of the investment or the efficiency of the investment? Sometimes they're profitable and efficient, and sometimes they're one or the other. So let's talk about a financial example for marketing. So digital advertising, we use return on investment all the time for ad spend. So let's say your monthly ad spend budget is $1,000 and you spend that an entire month, which results in an average customer sign up for your service, for your products of 1 per month. Now for your company, in this example, that new client is worth anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000 to your business. So that's a pretty good return on investment. You spend $1,000 to get anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000 back. So that's what we look at in digital advertising. So let's look at the same example from an ROI of time. So digital advertising, in order to create the ad where we get to spend that $1,000, you need the following things, right? You need to set up an ad account or accounts if you're using multiple platforms, so like Google, Facebook, all those other good ones. You have to write the ad copy. You have to select images for the ad. Hopefully you're creating video for your ads, especially if you're doing YouTube ads. Decide on the type of ads you're going to run. So like in Google, you can do search ads, display ads, YouTube, Gmail, all of them. And Facebook has a couple different options too. You have to specify your target audience, so you got to take time to figure that out. Create an ad in the ad account. So once you get all your assets together, you have to assemble them and create them in the ad account. And then you have to launch the ad and watch and adjust to optimize it. Ads always need to be optimized. So that's a lot of work that requires multiple skill sets to complete it. You need marketing strategy and goals and audience targeting for your business. You need to understand and have knowledge of the ad systems that you're going to be putting things in. You need some writing skills so that you can write the copy. And you're going to need some graphic design and video editing creation type of skills if you're going to be doing anything with video or adjusting images. So the question here for the ROI of time is, do you want to learn how to do all of these things and really get good at them? Or do you want to hire someone who's already done that to do this work on your behalf so that you can just pay the money for them to do that, spend your ad budget, get those new clients? So what is your time worth? That is the ROI of time. And so now that you understand the concept a bit better, let's walk through how to figure out what's better for you in a given situation, because every business and every business owner is in a different place in their business, as well as they have likes and dislikes of what they want to do, what they don't want to do. And so we've got to take all those factors in to help you decide if you want to hire someone or if you want to learn how to do it yourself. So let's walk through some questions you should ask yourself to decide if you should try to DIY your marketing or should you hire experts to do this. So before we do that, all of these questions, along with kind of the synopsis of yes or no, are going to be in the show notes. And then the other thing that I'm going to put in the show notes is a link to a podcast episode where we talk about, is it time to hire an agency? And that's going to give you a little more details too on who and how to hire. Do you hire an agency? Do you hire an individual? All that good stuff. Okay, so let's get started on these questions. So question number 1, are you full-time or are you part-time in your business? And think of this like a little branch tree. So if you're full-time, are you making enough revenue to invest 20% of your gross into your marketing budget? Is that gross big enough? So if the answer to that is I'm full-time and I have the money to invest now, then you should outsource your marketing because you're probably at a point where you don't have time to do it. We'll get to that. If the answer to that is no, right? Yes, I'm full-time, but no, I don't have the budget or I don't have a big enough budget. Let's put it that way. Spend the money you have on educating yourself to do the marketing the right way. The worst thing in the world is for a business owner to take something like this on, not understand how or the right way stuff is supposed to be done, and they put all the time and effort into doing it, and then they don't see any results, right? They do digital advertising and it's a flop and they're like, oh, this doesn't work. It's probably because they didn't do it correctly, didn't optimize it, didn't know what to do. You got to know what you don't know. So now on to the second part of question number 1. And there's really only 2 questions with multiple parts. Don't think this is going to be a big spider web here. So if you ask the question, I'm part-time in this business, maybe it's a side hustle. Maybe you're starting it so that you can then turn it into full-time. So if it's part-time and you have a full-time job, then set aside the budget money and hire a marketing agency as part of your startup costs. This is really important because you're doing 1.5 jobs, probably 2 full-time jobs for a lot of these startup guys in the course of a week. When you do that and you try to do all your stuff yourself, including the marketing, you're going to burn out super fast, or you're not going to give the marketing the attention it needs. And frankly, in order to get a startup off the ground, you need really excellent marketing because you're going on the uphill side of the awareness mountain, right? People got to know who you are, what you do, why you're good. And then once they hit the top of that mountain and start coming down the other side is where you'll start getting momentum. But if they don't know who you are and you don't do it the right way, your startup's never going to get off the ground. So invest in the marketing. So let's talk about an example of what I mean by investing in your marketing. And let's go with one of your biggest assets that any business is going to have in the beginning and ongoing, the website. A website should be designed to attract your perfect client and get them to take action. It's not just about looking pretty or talking about yourself or talking about your product or service. So here are all the things that you need to know how to do in order to build a website. So strategic audience knowledge. Do you know how to talk to your audience? And if you don't know what that means, then you don't know how to talk to your audience. You need some writing skills. You got to write for web. I did a whole podcast episode on the 5 biggest mistakes for websites, and writing too much content is one of them, and not writing the right type of content is on there as well. You need website design skills. Learn how to lay out a website, all the different pages with all the things that need to be done that make the site effective, right? Not just pretty, not just streamlined. It needs to be effective. It is a marketing tool. And then you need to know your website platform technology. And I don't care if you're using WordPress, Shopify, let's say you go with Wix or something else, Google's platform, you have to know how the tool works and what features it has in order to get what you need from it. And not all of them are equal. The lower budget ones tend to not have the right feature sets in them in order to do what really needs to be done for a website, and they don't have the flexibility. For a website, you're going to need some search engine optimization knowledge and how to implement it on your website platform. So for example, WordPress has a plugin like Rank Math. Shopify is launching Yoast this year, but they have a tried and true version of a plugin called SEO Masters to use. They're all different. I've used all 3 of those, right? They all have their own learning curve. And you definitely want to do that so that you don't have to code your own SEO, which that's a whole nother ball of wax. So that's just an example of one piece of marketing that needs to be done well if your company's your part-time job and a startup gig. So pay someone to do the website. You're listening to Inkyma's Marketing Strategies, and I'm Audrey Kirshner, and we're talking about the ROI of time in your business and how you can decide whether to invest in experts who already know how to do things or to educate yourself in marketing so that your business can ultimately grow and expand. So let's move on to question number 2. And question number 2 is, what do you have more of this year? And so we're going to categorize you into one of 3 groups here. So group number 1 is if you have more time than money, or you have less money. You got a smaller marketing budget, or you may have no budget, right? You're lean and mean, not a lot of cash. So you may have to DIY more. You can offset costs by hiring a company to do initial startup work for you, giving you a little bit of training, and then taking it over for the day-to-day work, because that's where the costs get a little hard to bear for a lot of business owners, is when it's that monthly reoccurring cost. So let's talk about an example of what this looks like. Implementing a MailChimp content marketing system. If you've listened to any other podcasts, I am a MailChimp girl. This is why I use them. So let's say you want to send newsletters to clients as part of your marketing, and you want to have a sales funnel for leads. So people that are not clients, you want to get them into a sales funnel, warm them up so they buy something. So you can hire a MailChimp expert to set up your account, connect your client list wherever that lives into your MailChimp system that you work with. Make sure that it's connected to the website as well so people can sign up from the website directly with a sign-up form for the newsletter or for the funnel. And then they can also help you set up your automations, like your welcome emails. They can actually set up the full sales funnel journey for you so they go out whenever anybody meets the criteria for it. You can do birthday reminders, have that set up, and they can create your email templates for you so that they're pretty, the sections are there. So once all that is done, then all you have to do is write and publish newsletter articles each month and send them out. And then again, make sure that when you ask them to do this, and be very upfront, say you want to be trained, you want things set up for you, make sure you get some training in there too, because they can do it specifically on your account so that you can actually see your stuff, how it's named, what it looks like. Okay, so on to the next part of what do you have more of this year. So let's say you're 50-50. You have about the same amount of time and the same amount of financial equity for a marketing budget. So this is that tipping point for many businesses on where they have to ask themselves the question, should they hire an agency or should they do it themselves, and how much should they do? And usually they're starting to get crunched on time here. They have more responsibilities, there's more clients coming in, they've got more employees, and then they're making more money. So this is where you have to decide, okay, is my budget big enough now? Can I offload this? Here I would recommend you get quotes for everything. And then when you look at that, look at your budget and decide what you can offload off your plate and then what you need, or maybe you even want to keep. Definitely offload the stuff that you don't get to do regularly, but that you should, or the stuff that you really just don't like, or the stuff that is too time consuming. It takes many more hours than other stuff. So let's talk about an example of what you would keep versus what you would offload. So in this example, we're going to talk about outsourcing digital advertising, hiring an expert, but keeping your social media posting, right, to your social channels. So the learning curve for digital advertising is far larger than social posting. It's a lot. We understand social media platforms. We've done personal posts. We read the posts. Conceptually, it's a lot easier to understand. Plus, if you write a bad post, it's just a waste of 15 to 20 minutes, maybe. But if you don't know how to do digital advertising the right way, setting up the ads, all the criteria, the things I talked about at the beginning, not only can you be wasting your time, you're going to be wasting your ad spend budget, and you're not going to convert. So you're losing clients as well. So in this example, get quotes for both, someone to do digital advertising, someone to do social media posting. But I would recommend outsourcing the strategy and the creation and maintaining of the ads. But then you keep writing the social posts, or have someone on your team do it. And then they can write, select images, schedule it. That way that just keeps feeding the social beast. So our last category of what do you have more of this year is you have more money than time. So this, I think, is where all business owners should strive to be if they want to be long-term in their business, if they want their business to be very successful, if they want to be the type of business owner who works on their business and not in their business and make it sustainable. This is where you need to hire an agency to manage all of the marketing, outsource everything. You can have an internal person manage the agency, but you really need the day-to-day work and the strategy to be done by a professional. Because the agency is going to come in and get to know, understand your goals, and then they're going to create a marketing strategy based off those goals. Understand your target market, all those good things. Then they're going to take all the stuff that you're doing today, your website, any advertising, your social media, content marketing, anything that you're doing from a marketing perspective, and evaluate it against the new strategy. And then they're going to see if there's gaps. What's missing? What is there too much of? What is there that you're actually doing that you shouldn't be doing? That's actually quite common. Then once all of that's identified, they're going to fix, tweak, modify, and then run everything going forward. So as part of this, sometimes handing all of that over is a little frightening, right? You're giving the reins over a little, even though you're still in charge. You can still carve out small pieces that, let's say you enjoy doing them and you want to keep doing them. You can certainly do that. Just have that discussion with the agency so both of you are on the same page. So that's the end of the questions. And again, those questions along with the little segmentations are going to be in the show notes. So you can go and review them. So now that we're talking about time versus cost and return on investment, let's talk about what you do next. Let's take some action, right? Because knowledge is wonderful and great, but it's useless unless you don't do anything with it. Action step number 1, ask and answer the above questions. Decide where you are right now at this moment, not where you want to be, but where you are right now. Then number 2, look at your current marketing. And based on your answers, what can be outsourced? And if nothing, what do you need more education on? You don't always have to spend money on education, so you don't need to buy a $4,000 course. There's free YouTube stuff out there that you can use to get you started. But if you can, get something reputable, get something paid, and then spend the time educating yourself or your team in order to make sure that your marketing is being done correctly. And number 3, the goal is to outsource this completely, right? At some point in your business. And you'll decide based off of that questionnaire where you are today, because you want to focus on the bigger picture. You want to focus on the business. Maybe it's new product lines, employees, customers. So you need to reevaluate this. Go through these questions at least 2 times per year. The other time you want to do it, or you want to do it more than 2 times a year, is when you've added or changed your business significantly. So let's say you bought another company, reevaluate. Let's say you added a product line, you reevaluate, you go through these questions again. Let's say you brought on 2 or 3 more sales reps, which is in theory supposed to increase your customer base coming in, which is growth. Marketing needs to support sales, so you've got to reevaluate. So here's my final thought for you. Education, education, education. If you're going to continue to do it yourself. Winging it has a horrible return on investment. So buy classes, use free YouTubes, read articles, buy books, right? Make sure that you at least know what you don't know, but you're starting to know it. Don't waste your time on building a website unless you've educated yourself on the right way to do it. There's definitely resources out there to support you in this. And you can always start with our podcast episodes and then go from there, because a lot of times I will reference tools that you can use to help you through this. So remember, don't skimp on education. Here at Inkyma, we like to give back to the business community. I provide a free 45-minute consultation to anyone, regardless if you're looking for a marketing agency right now or if you're just looking for direction on where to get really good education. I am totally fine with sitting on a call with you and saying, go here, go here, go here for this, that, and the other, so that you can educate yourself and keep your business growing and moving forward. So just go to my website, Inkyma.com. That's INKYMA.com. And in the upper right-hand corner, there is a schedule, a marketing evaluation button. Click on it, pick your date and time, and we are on the calendar together. Maybe you just have a quick question. Fill out the contact form, and I'm going to respond to anybody that reaches out with a question. I hope you found the information in this episode educational. If you did, please share it with all your business owner friends. Our goal is to help the entire business community grow and thrive. Thanks for listening and have an amazing day.